Bueno, pues ahora mismito, en 2 segundos, vamos a tener a la reina de Montenegro, como yo la he llamado, que
Es que no me lo puedo creer. En plan, es verdad. O sea, no es una coña.
es completamente verdad.
Y os lo
Y
confirmamos
aparece ahora
aquí.
mismo. Hola, Vladana.
Buenas noches a todos.
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
How are you guys? I have a question for you at the beginning. Where are you calling from? From Madrid, Barcelona? Where from?
Well, I'm in Madrid.
Madrid.
I'm in Barcelona.
Okay, from all parts from Spain.
Yeah, no, I am in Brisbane, Australia.
Oh, okay. So
good
that
morning.
is why I'm seeing the light in your room because of the day there. Yeah.
There are like good sides. It's the day.
Yes. So Vladana, long time no see. How's everything going for you?
Yeah, 2 years actually, 2 years and a half, I think, almost 3. Well, things are very intense and chaotic in my life lately. Well, after Eurovision in 2022, I decided to take a complete step back because the year has been incredibly intense for me and I needed some rest and some peace. And I was also, it was also time for personal reflection as I haven't been able to properly grieve my mother, who I lost, to whom I dedicated my Eurovision song. And then in 2023, last year, I gradually returned to projects in the National Public Service where I worked. And together, I was a project manager for some projects, European projects, because like music is my hobby. It's not my first profession. And together with one of my colleagues from the television, who is an editor of music shows, we launched a music show called Hit Galaxy, if we translate it, yes, as a local entertainment music show. And because there was a noticeable gap in the programming for such content, for entertainment content. And the goal was to revive the music scene and provide a platform for Montenegrin artists, although we plan to continue it this year. Because of the project of Montesong, we unexpectedly took priority and we couldn't record it new episodes, so we postpone it for next year. I don't know what will happen. And regarding my music career, on the other hand, which is my personal passion, last year I recorded a new song on Italian together, collaboration with Dolce Hera. If you saw Montesong,
yes.
Her the second time as an artist, as a singer, because she's a drummer. And since she lives in Rome and she heard me in Eurovision that I like singing in very different languages, especially in Italian, because I know Italian, she said to me, why don't we record an Italian song? I wrote an interesting lyrics, so if you like it, we can do it. So I loved it. And we made the video. It's called Sweet and Bizarre. And audience response was fantastic. And that was my exploration for something new in music. And this year, you already know we made Montesong, and that's another question.
Right, it's a big project.
It was a lot of things to do last 2 years for me, but I wasn't so much in music for myself. Mm-hmm. But I plan in 2025.
Nice, good. We understand that Eurovision means a lot to you since you started this project to bring back Montenegro to Eurovision. Yes. How was the process of making that idea come to life?
Well, there was a lot of public discussion about whether Montenegro would return to Eurovision. And while I personally supported that idea, RTCG as public service media didn't initially wanted to allocate necessary financial resources for that. However, earlier this year, around, I think, May, springtime, this initiative gained, well, a momentum when association, how will I translate it, for singers and performers in Montenegro approached public service media with a proposal to create some kind of a music festival, regardless Eurovision. And they offered that they can make a sponsorship and cover the financial costs of the festival, like 90% or 80%. And me, as someone with experience both in music and like working for RTCG, I pushed that idea to RTCG, and that led to the creation of Montesong, which was demanding but ultimately really rewarding project that I'm proud to have been a part of.
And returning to the creation of Montesong, how was the reception from the Montenegrin artists, and how were the songs chosen?
The response from Montenegrin artists were incredible. For this public competition, there was a public call. We received a record of 36 submissions, which highlights how important this kind of festival is for those who live and work from the music industry. And there was a special selection committee, which included members of RTCG, musical editors, entertainment editors, and people who are creatives and musicians from our music scene. So they had, I think, 10 days, and they had to choose 16 songs, unfortunately 16, because we wanted to choose more, but we didn't have too much money to make a festival. In the end, we concluded that we don't have enough money to make a 2 days festival, like semi and finals. And we thought we have to make something for the beginning. So we had to choose 16 songs, and I approved those songs as artistic director of the festival. In the end, we tried to have more different kind of music in the festival. Even we had one application for one folk musician from Montenegro, but he in the end said that he's not going to participate, so we choose another one from the list. And it was not an easy decision for the committee, I know, because there were a lot of good songs, and adding additional entries would require that second night of performances. So I hope that some next year we will have more entries and, I don't know, a bigger response. But I have to say this is the best response from artists, because there was a kind of a festival called, because you all like Eurovision, maybe you know, you're into it. It was called Montevision 5 or 6 years ago. Not every year, but there were no as many submissions as this year. So this was a sign that Montenegro needs this kind of a music festival. Yeah. So
let me tell you, please, that we were really impressed on how good the show was. Like, congratulations, because we thought it was a really good show with really good rhythm and also stagings. And I wanted to ask you about the stagings, like how did you manage the production for 16 artists, which we know it's not easy.
Especially it's not easy if you have little time. And my idea at the beginning, I have to say, I'm really guilty for that. For 27th November, well, I wanted to do something for the television also, if we have some kind of that entertainment show, and I wanted to be on that day. Television was born 80 years ago. And we wanted to make that kind of show because Montenegrin television is focused on sports and politics and other things. Like there's no entertainment at all. So I wanted to make a focus on music that night. And that is why we accelerated everything. Otherwise, the show would be in January or February, like many of countries do that. I think Albania only has in December, and everybody else chooses their representative afterwards. Yeah. So that would be more time for artists to apply for the song. So they had only a month and a half, I think, from the moment that we chose them. And then we managed, we hired an external production company from Belgrade, which was responsible for the stage design, lighting, and visuals. They also, I think, do the Pjesma za Euroviziju from Serbia. And this allowed us to focus on the creative and organization sides of the project. So it was a demanding, complex task. And despite those limited resources and time constraints, the dedication from everyone involved ensured that each artist's performance was given the care and attention it deserved. And in the end, they were, I think, all happy. And I think the final result is acceptable, I think, for the Eurovision audience, especially because I think the first time when we compare it to Montevideo, yes, it was 5 years ago and the production was improved, but I think we managed to move forward and to present, yes, and present our artists in modern way. Because I personally have to say we didn't have such good stagings, performances when we had those national open competitions. It was only about music, and we know that you always have another perception of a song when you hear it, and it's totally different when you see it with the staging. Also, myself, but we will talk afterwards about the songs when I heard them and when I saw them. It was completely different perception.
Okay.
As well, you really shone as the host of the show. How was this experience?
Well, I was invited. That was the most problematic part for this Montesong. I was invited to host because of my background as a former Eurovision representative, and we all know that those kind of shows, they mostly have one host, which is an actor, and one is maybe Eurovision representative. And while I've had some hosting experience, but I'm not a professional presenter, especially for a live show of this length of 3 hours. Still, I always loved challenges, so I was excited and accepted the role, unfortunately. That said, the preparation was intense, balancing the hosting duties on one side and as artistic director on the other side, and that left me exhausted. We had limited rehearsal times. We didn't have the whole rehearsal for the hosts because we didn't have enough days to rehearse. We got the scenario a week before that. I couldn't prepare as much as I could, and there were a lot of technical difficulties which created additional challenges, especially in the end of the show. I had some few slipped mistakes when talking, and those mistakes become the focus of media coverage in Montenegro, which overshadowed the music and artists for days. I don't know, you couldn't maybe see that, you didn't, because you're not from, you don't speak our language, but for me, in the end, it was a good experience. And despite all those obstacles, I'm really proud of, in the end, what we achieved with the show, with the artists, and proud with their performances and the music we have in the end.
Yeah, let us tell you that, of course, we didn't know this, but it looked incredible when you don't speak the language. So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
At the end of the show, the winners were Neonoen, being second in both jury and televotes, and we would like to congratulate them on that. What did you feel when you heard the song for the first time? Did you think they could win?
Neonoen's song stood out from the moment I first heard it. It had a unique quality and a timely message that resonated like clickbait. While I knew the competition would be tough, I wasn't surprised they emerged as winners. Especially, we followed what everybody is doing on their social media marketing, and they did it really good. They had the best marketing campaign in Montenegro. They were interviewing ordinary people on streets and asking them about, do you know what's clickbait? And nobody knew. Nobody knew, and that was a good marketing idea for them. So I think they were second for from the televoting.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and they're talented, professional young guys. I know them for like 20 years, and I'm proud that they were a part of Montesong, and their success in the end demonstrates the level of artistry we have in Montenegro. The situation, I hope that, I think that's the next question about the rules and their,
just let me make it. So finally, it's very sad, but because of this September 1st rule, they won't be able to go to Eurovision. But we know that this rule has been broken quite a handful of times, even by Eurovision winners. But finally, they won't be able to compete because they retired. So how was this received by the country and the audience?
Tough. Yes. Really tough. The situation was disappointing for many, especially for them and for their fans. Unfortunately, the September 1st rule is really clear. And although it has been bent in certain cases, this time it wasn't possible, because it was not only about the Eurovision EBU rules, because we contacted EBU, and EBU said it's a national jurisdiction, because they will think about and decide about the songs on 10 March. When they get all songs from every country. And everybody was frustrated. At that time, I stepped back. I didn't want to have any influence on the decision. In the end, the only decision who can make in the national broadcaster is the general director, not even the council of the television, only the general director. In those cases, has a power to decide. But they stepped out, and that's really fair from them, because in the end, if they were disqualified by RTCG, I think they would be in the end disqualified, because on the other hand, RTCG would face some lawsuits from other contestants, because the rule is clear. Even if you sang that song in front of, as they said, in front of 20, like a little audience, you sang it, and the rule says you cannot perform it partially, not the whole song, and that wasn't fair for other contestants. So I think that if they didn't step out, the RTCG would disqualify them, but I really don't know. I really don't know, because I didn't had the power to decide. And yes, it was frustrating, and I'm really sorry for them, but in the end they became heroes, and I hope that won't encourage them to apply again for Montesong, because they're really cool and they really had a good for me. They were like, they were one of the performances which like elevated really high for me when I saw them.
Yeah, the live performance was really impactful.
Yes, the performance was really good planned, really good directed. I think they did alone the direction, and I think they made alone the visuals behind them. So their efforts were like, you could see the efforts, and I'm really sorry for them in the end. But you have to follow the rules in such a cases.
Yeah. Nevertheless, we will have Montenegrin representation in Eurovision, and you have previously said that it's very important for the artists, and Europe was watching Montesong when it's aired. So I think that you made it happen for the 16 of them. Do you think this platform will continue to help artists in the future?
Well, I hope so. Absolutely. Montesong has proved to be a fantastic platform for our artists to gain exposure and to grow their careers, especially for those young artists. The interest is generated both locally and internationally, shows the potential for the festival to become a cornerstone of Montenegro's music scene. So with the continued support from RTCG, I believe it can serve as an annual event that nurtures talents and builds bridges between Montenegrin artists and audiences across Europe. I really hope that Montesong will continue to live. I hope that RTCG in future years is going to make a budget for that kind of festival, even if they don't go every year at Eurovision, because always it's financial reason, unfortunately. And I really stand out for that idea, because we also air, when I say our national television also airs a lot of sports, like Olympics and everything, which is really costs a lot. And they always say, but it brings money. Music doesn't bring so much money. But in the end, it's not all about money. It's I think it's a mission for a public service media to give to young talents a platform, especially for young people, where they don't have to show their music, And I really hope that the council of RTCG is now gonna sit and say, maybe we don't have to choose every time that the winner goes to Eurovision if we don't have so much money, but we have to have that festival every year. Yeah, I really hope that that it will continue.
We hope.
I hope too.
Especially for those critics from outside, because those guys are presenting their local music to the international audience now. So it's really important for their careers.
Yeah. Well, we read your statement a couple of days ago where you explained that you quitted your job as the artistic director of Montesong. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the reasons behind it and what would have to change for you to return to this position. I know it's a difficult question.
Well, while I loved the creative aspects of the project and all the projects in television, because I graduated journalism and my place is on a television or radio or somewhere else, somewhere where I can, I can do the things I love, music, creativity, and everything else. I was really disappointed with the lack of institutional support. When I say institutional, of the public service media, my house, which is really now difficult for me to continue because if I would return, there would need to be a clear communication, better resource allocation, commitment to transparency and support for everyone involved. I think that I gave myself so much in this project, and how to say, I didn't receive when there was a public criticism in media about those mistakes, where I apologized because I was not a professional host. There was nobody from public service media to say, come on, it's not only those mistakes. There were a lot of technical mistakes which led to those mistakes. There was a lack of support, and that maybe maybe I have to say personally made me really vulnerable regarding this. And when you give yourself into something so much without any money compensation, and that was not in any moment a goal, I think you should have all the support from the public service media. So I don't know what will happen. They had a statement that they don't want to cut the cooperation with me, that I gave a big contribution to the festival, not only to the festival, but to the whole process. And yes, for me, Montesong was a chance to create something meaningful for our music scene. And that was worth all the effort in the end for me. And that was my only driving force, not the money. Because I heard, and that was, media said that I received a big sum of money, that the costs for Montesong were so high. It's like, it's a lie. There was like no costs for public service media. It was covered for from other organizations, as I mentioned, organization of the artists of Montenegro, organizations of the composers, sponsorships and everything. And public service media, for 10 days, they didn't stepped out and said, no, there were no costs. No, she didn't receive any money. No, she gave all heart and soul to make something for those musicians. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
So that led me to that decision, which was, I have to say, emotional decision.
Yeah, but we completely understand
Yeah.
because, well, it was.
I know
really-
you do. Everybody, because when you give yourself so much into something, you have to continue to work for some other projects. And how will you continue if you make another mistake or something and you know that you're not going to gain support and they give you the project? So I think a moral support, not financial support. I always say that everything connected with music, I always do without money.
Yeah, I
It's my
have to
hobby.
say
I don't
that-
earn from music. I don't.
Yeah.
It's not my profession.
we have to say that we understand you so deeply because our pre-party in Madrid is also no profit. So we do everything just out of love for your vision.
I know.
Yeah. We really, really get you.
So I don't know what will happen. I'm like, I now have a lack of enthusiasm.
Yes. We understand
Yeah.
completely.
And
Luis?
yeah, do you think that it's important for Montenegro to participate in Eurovision every year? Do you see the future beyond 2025 for the country in the contest?
Well,
With a preselection or not?
I think that. I wasn't before my participation at Eurovision for years. I stopped being a Eurovision fan. And there were always been those critics within our people and our audience. Should Montenegro return, or should we? They always say we waste money on Eurovision, but it's a small amount of money when you compare it, when you waste it for our sportists on other things. I don't want to mention and to connect everything with politics, but I think from that moment I saw how much is important for an artist to present his message, his lyrics, his something to Europe, because especially for a country like Montenegro, which is small, like with small market, and it's very important to continue to participate, because it's a kind of inspiration for artists to do something with their music, to show their music broader than its country and how do you say
Borders.
Borders, yeah, it's borders. So especially I wanted to connect that topic with the constant problem in Montenegro for the people who sing and who really live, especially like Nina Žižić. Nina Žižić now will represent in Montenegro, and she's really a performer in Montenegro. She lives from that. She doesn't have any other job. She only sings, and she sings in bars, in hotels, but nobody calls Nina Žižić and other artists from Montenegro like in Serbia for the New Year's Eve or something, because we're not popular in Serbia and bigger countries, Croatia. But our national authorities, our festivals, our hotels, all big events, they every time call artists from Croatia and Serbia. There's no space for Montenegrin artists. They cannot earn on those kind of festivals, events. They cannot earn because they're not popular. And why is that? Because the country has to push, has to give us support, And it's not wasting money. It's helping people create and live from what they do. Especially, they can say to you, maybe Nina, in some future interview, when we had a Corona year, 2020, a lot of Montenegrin, I don't know about the other countries, it was really like difficult everywhere, but especially then, they couldn't pay their rents for their apartments because they couldn't sing anywhere. And that was a big problem for those people who don't who live only from the music. So I think it's really important because it's a goal. Now I hope that all those musicians who saw Montesong for the first time and new musicians who were like skeptic, should I apply or shouldn't? I think that they will apply next year because we expanded, we opened for every kind of music. We gave opportunities to everybody so they can finally create. And that is the mission of the public service media. And I stand for that. Not because of the Eurovision, not because of the they will do something. You know, now critics, when we send someone, doesn't matter what kind of song, they always negative. Oh, we're from a small country, we're not gonna do anything there. Like, it's not only that goal. We will like give the opportunity for the artists. That's the goal.
Yeah, and as we said, we think that with your help, all 16 of them in Montesong are now known, very known in all of Europe, really.
Yeah, and I hope they will continue to make music because me, I as well, when I heard the songs, because the when we received those 16 songs from the commission in the end, when they chosen them, they opened the other envelope because the application were secret. You couldn't see who is singing and who made the songs. So when they selected the 16 artists, there were a lot of artists who we didn't know. And this is great. So I'm really happy about that, especially for, I have to say, especially I'm really happy to have Barjak.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They were really good.
Barjak was one of my big favorites, especially when I saw their staging. I think they have a great potential. I think that they're very creative. Like you could feel their synergy on the stage. They were so powerful. Also, they made they made their music alone. They made the direction alone. They made everything alone. So they're a complete Montenegrin project. And I hope they will continue to live. They were really excited. They entered the competition. They thought no one's gonna know for us. We're like young. Our kind of music, it's like underground a little bit. But in the end, they got the most public televotes. So that's a sign that we have to support those guys and that we have to support these kind of open competitions.
Yeah, of course, and with local talent as well.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about yourself. What are your plans for the future? Will we be listening to Vladana's new music in the following months?
So, well, these 2 years were so, as I already said in the beginning, were so intense for me, and every day I wake up and say, oh my God, I have to record some song, guys. I have to return to music, like EP or something, but don't have time even to, because I would like to create my own songs, not to produce them because I cannot, but to and I wrote already, but I didn't step into the studio. So I hope I will in 2025. I already spoke with some people to make the music together. So I hope that I will do, and I will hope. No, I will hope I will record those songs in Montenegrin and also in English. And I have, for years, I have one project in my head, which is a demanding project, which would combine traditional Montenegrin forgotten songs from one really big Montenegrin artist with some modern arrangements or orchestra arrangements. But that is a big project, and it should be financially supported. But if I do that, maybe not next, but the other year, that would be my personal goal achieved, really, because when I return, and because I love music, but not professionally into music. When I see I achieved everything what I wanted, I want that project too, because I wanted to go to MTV station when I was 24. My video was the first video of a singer, of individual artist on MTV. And then I recorded the whole album on English, and I was really happy with it, with that kind of production. Even when you hear those songs today, they sound good. For the first time, I composed that music. Then in the end, 10 years after, I'm representing my country, and I'm not a professional musician, I'm not in music, I'm not earning from music. And now I would like to keep some fusion with something Montenegrin, and I hope I will do that. But I will need to devote to that, not to have a lot of projects, so I make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, but that sounds like such an interesting project. And by the way, let me tell you that I thought it was so nice that in Montesong, all of the songs had to be in Montenegrin, at least one part, because we love national languages in Eurovision.
Yeah, I know. And that rule, I said that we have to make that rule, because I know that not for the international but local audience in Montenegro always says, also when I went to Eurovision, why isn't she singing on her language? We have to promote our language, and I agree with that, of course. And that is why I said that we have to make that rule for the national competition, because the national audience is voting for that, and they want to listen their language. But now Nina, as our new representative, it's not she's not obliged to sing that song on our language. That was only for Montesong. If she wants, I think she can record some parts or the whole song in English or some different language, like in Finnish, for like I did.
We'll see then. Personally, I hope that she keeps it in Montenegrin, because I think it gives it like something special that no other
special
country.
and feels strong, and her message is strong. So I think she will continue. I don't know, does the song is going to go through a revamp, but we will see. I'm really excited to see her.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Vladana, for your time and for explaining everything that's happening, because
a lot of drama with Montenegro. We opened the season with drama.
Yes.
Now you can count down for Christmas, and more drama is coming from January. Montenegro,
hopefully not. Hopefully
not from Montenegro. Thank
there
you for
will be more
inviting me.
Eurodramas.
No more
But
dramas.
please let us show you some messages that you got from our chat. That it's like
Lujazo de insultar una cantante comprometida en sus ideas más a la LDC. Oh my God.
Did you understand that?
Lujazo de escuchar. I was happy to listen to the singer comprometida en su comprometida.
Engaged. It's engaged.
Engaged to the ideas, especially to the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah.
No, like beyond Eurovision.
Beyond. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, mother.
Vladana se ha convertido en mi montenegrina favorita en este momento. Am I good?
Yeah.
Like you are his
very
favorite.
Should I record something in Spanish?
Maybe we should.
Fan de su entrega, de que tenga las cosas tan claras, del amor que demuestra su trabajo y de cómo habla. He's a fan. She's a Sandra. She's a fan. I made clarity to all the things which weren't clear, and for my love, which I show to my job and how I speak about the job.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Basically bilingual.
Oh, I love Portugal too. Yes, today I shared the song from Vânia Fernandes Aguas. Senhora do Mar is my favorite from Portugal. Vladana, we love you. It's Charlie. I know him from Madrid. Yes. Guys, I love Madrid, I have to say. I love Madrid. It's my favorite city in Spain.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Vladana. Thank you for coming, and hopefully we will see you again soon.
I will see you again, and thank you for inviting me. And it was a nice Sunday chit chat from my cozy home. I hope that Spain, because you're from Spain, will host maybe in pre-party in Madrid or in Barcelona our representative, that you're gonna like her, and that Spain, if it votes for that semi-final, votes for Arnina Žižić.
Yes, I'm sure it will happen.
Thank you, guys. You made me smile. For a lot of days I wasn't smiling, but you made me smile tonight, so thank you.
Oh, that's so nice.
Thank you.
We really do.
Support from Spain.
Yeah.
Buenas noches a todos.
Buenas noches.
Chao, gracias.
Chao.
Ciao, bye-bye.